What's happening, YouTube? Genji here, and welcome back to my playthrough of Foundry. There's not too much to recap just yet. In the last episode, we got our feet wet with the building system, setting up our resource acquisition, some basic assembly, research, and also launched our first set of galactic goods into space. So that's what we're going to pick up in this episode. So let's get back into it. With Genji Galactic. Alright, so as you might notice, I, off-screen after the last episode, went and reconfigured our assembly here to kind of get rid of some of the spaghetti work. So we still have, our miners are still set up the same way in our smelters, so we're producing plates and we're producing rods, but instead of having them go through one set of assemblers for where we're making science packs, and there was a whole nest of conveyor belts in the back here, and those went off to the servers, and then we had a completely different set of assemblers over on this side. What I've done is just bring all of the resources into a single main bus, similar to how we had last episode, and now all of our assemblers are all in one row, and they all pull off of that bus on the same side, so that we're not popping off this side and then having to come down and turn around and go back and go underneath. It was just a big mess, so this is a little bit more streamlined, and they're set forward at uneven distances to match the amount of vertical distance they have to cover to hit their feeder belts. So the higher up their resources that they need to assemble are, the further forward they have to be set in order to fit those ramps in there. But when we do eventually unlock elevators, we can bring everything back to a uniform distance and then just have elevators pulling everything off directly vertically and do away with all of these messy ramps. So this is just a temporary measure, but it's at least a lot more organized than it was at the end of the first episode. So we're going to go ahead and get our research started towards that goal. Let's hit our research interface here. And if I remember correctly, pretty much everything is going to be locked behind this inventory size 1 upgrade, maybe? Refresh my memory here. So we're looking for elevators, which are here. Elevators and freight elevators, so those go through piping. Piping goes through steel making, antenna, yeah, so it all goes through character improvement. Science Pack 2 is where we're at. There we go. And obviously, as you probably saw, we have a whole bunch of science packs built up here. So we're good on basic science packs for quite a while, but all of these feed off of two assemblers here that because of the destination of their output, I did have to route those underneath our assemblers. So they go down and they hit a bus and they join one feed that goes underneath the ground here and then pops up to our science servers. So while those are plinking away, let's follow up on our tasks here. So we have to construct a sales platform on the space station, so we can take care of that. Station upgrades. We're going to need a sales platform. Power requirements. Okay, so we do have to go through solar panels first. So station upgrades, solar panels. Repair solar panels. Provides 20 megawatts of power. We have all the requirements. Our construction material is dwindling, so I'm assuming at some point we're going to have to start constructing that on the surface here, and then setting that up to the station. Let's get that rolling. So now we have some time to tinker. There's nothing that we really need to build at the moment. I mean, I could build some more assemblers, but we're really just kind of waiting for more research to unlock. And as far as I know, I don't think you can have two different things researching at one time. I think if we change one here, that it will, like if we switch this to inventory size. Yeah, it changes all servers. So let's just go back to Science Packs 2. Continue that research, and we'll just wait for that to finish, and then we can continue adding some new features onto our base. Alright, there's Science Packs 2 and solar panels. Let's get this next space station upgrade going. Station upgrades, we want the sales platform, build it. 100 more construction materials. Getting closer. And now we can start our next research project, which is going to be antennas, right? Antenna, then basic steel making. Let's see what else we unlocked. A drill speed upgrade, a new logistics container. We can build some railings to trap in the BB robot. But I think we'll go with station antenna for now. Unlocks the necessary blueprints to repair the space station antenna. This allows us to contact other entities in the galaxy. Uh-oh. That sounds foreboding. But in the meantime, we can see what it's going to take for us to manufacture science packs too. So let's go to crafting. So we're going to need conveyors and building blocks. So those are going to be our next things to automate. So let's get some assemblers going for that. So we're going to need 2 assemblers. And I have a feeling that at some point we're going to have to expand our smelting capability. I think it looks like we're only really expending 1 smelter's worth at the moment because our other 2 are still completely full. So we're good for that at the moment. So let's get these assemblers placed down. And I should also probably research lighting so I don't have to build in the dark here. There's 1 and 2. So to build or assemble conveyor belts, we need xenoferrite plates and machinery parts. So we have both of those already on our main bus. So that's easy enough. We just need to connect up some ramps to that, and we actually need to extend our main bus a bit. A bit too far. Keep it going. There we go. And we're going to need 2 inputs and an output. Although in this case, I'm not sure I want to put conveyor belts directly back onto our main bus. Unless it's something like Factoria that I think had conveyor belts as a pretty common ingredient in more complex constructions, but let's take a look. So we also needed, what was the other thing? Construct science packs, 2 building blocks. So building blocks are pretty simple. Xenoferrite plates and technum rods. So basically the same as science packs. Right? Nope, that's actually the first thing with that particular combination. So that's easy enough. So we do need some more loaders. In this case, well, nah, we'll just go out and back in again. So let's place these down. 1, 2, 3. And then that'll be input, input, output, input, input, output for both of these machines. So we need to get plates and parts. The plates are simple. They're right on the ground here. Those are going to be in this row. So we need to take out... Ooh. Actually, I may need to push that forward 1 because that's going to intersect with this line here. So we'll try to have this one. So it's going to be this and this. And, oh, I'm out of buses too. I'm running out of everything. Construct. Not buses, balancers. There's 1. Okay, so rotate this the right way. Pop this down here, and now we can build some more conveyor belts. Maybe we do want to pipe these into like a container so that I can just conveniently grab them, because I am going to need quite a lot of these. We'll bring this right into our input here. And there we go. And then parts are up here. So those should be a bit easier. That's going to be on this row here. So we actually need to take this and this out. Pop another balancer on there, and then we can rotate that output this way and bring it down. 1, 2, and then feed it straight in. There we are. So now this machine should be producing conveyor belts. Now we have to decide what we want to do with the output. This is a product that I feel like I would want to have accessible for me to come grab some. So maybe let's experiment with, maybe we'll bring this out, go underneath this belt, and then put a container on the other side of this. So it would be a logistics container. Let's see what this looks like. So it has loaders on the bottom and then a panel. So something like this. And no power. Does it require power? I didn't even look. Just this container. Let's just pull this one back up. It does not require power, but it does require a loader, which requires power. So we will need at least a little bit of power. So let's line this up with our output over here. Actually, let's go over 1. Like so that we're lined up with the actual assembler that it's going to be loading from. And then we just need to go back 1 because we're going to have to put a ramp here. So let's destroy this and this. And then we'll put a ramp going up here. And then actually you need to go down 1 more time to get under this. One, 2, and let's clear this. Oops, Shift F, and then we can just go straight back like so. Click once. Okay, so now we can get under. So we're going to take our output, we're immediately going to go down, and then 1 more time, like so. It's an interesting looking, just a box with the conveyor belt icon on it. It doesn't even have a unique model. Now we can go straight under, and we're out of conveyors again, so actually I guess we just pull them off the conveyor belt. And we'll go straight until we're under. Oh, let me out. Till we're under the bus. And then we can start going back up again, so we'll get some more ramps. Going up. And we don't have enough space for this one, so let's destroy, and then we can place it. Going up and then going up. Like so. And then build some foundation. Well, we can either connect this to our existing foundation here, which might be a bit easier, or run it all the way back. This is probably quicker. Okay, now we just patch our holes. Bring this forward as far as we're allowed. And we can place our logistics container back down here. Now, one thing I did... Oh, there's panels on 2 sides. Interesting. One thing I didn't... Oop, too close. What was I saying? One thing I did not consider is that we do actually need to feed these into another assembler. So 1 more this way. Nope, and then we do actually have to go back again. Here. So we have to place a loader here. There we are. So now we are building up stock. Oops. I want to expand this a bit. Now we're building up stock of conveyor belts, tier 1 conveyor belts. I suppose at some point we will probably want to build passage to get under or over our bus here, because it is kind of a impenetrable wall separating us from our assemblers. But now we need to get plates and rods into this machine. So we'll do the same thing. So we're going in, and out. Plates is easy, and I think we're far enough away now that we can take this straight from here, place this, rotate it towards our assemblers, and just take it straight in. Speaking of, open container. Okay, so I can just take them straight out. So yes, just give me a whole bunch. We will need many, many more. We can go straight in. We're going to need some more ramps. And some more loaders. And some more balancers. And what are we out of? We're out of plates. So let me grab some plates. Just for hand building things. Give me these. Okay, so we're loading plates, and then we need rods, which is the next row up. So let's take out these two. Drop a balancer in. Rotate. Ramp. And feed. There we go. Now we're constructing, so this is also probably something that I'll want to have a storage container for, because we will definitely need a ton of foundation in the future. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go down. Let's do an area deconstruct, going all the way through. And then start drilling. Like so, and then we'll bring this back, fill in those gaps. And now we need another logistics container. And we'll drop a loader here. Our container here. Did I do that right? Yeah. This one I did wrong. Let's go like that. There we go, that lines up. And that lines up. Cool. And we have conveyors. We have platforms. We don't seem to be in a crunch for materials yet. All of our stock lines seem to be full. Plates, rods, electric components, parts, science. Yes, everything is still running at capacity. So now we need to bring our conveyor belts and our platforms together, or our foundations together, to make red science. Let's go ahead and expand our assembly line again, or assembly area again. Like so. And we'll need another assembler. Oops. If you right click, it makes 5. I don't need 5. Although I'm sure we will use 5 eventually, but right now I just want 1. We'll face this forward. We're going to tell it we want red science. And this just takes our previous 2. So, well, ultimately, we're going to need to bring the red science back here, right? And then we're going to have to expand this a bit, because we're going to need second lane loaders, and then have blue science coming in on one, and then red science coming in on the other. In fact, yeah, we're trying to research antenna, but we don't even have any red science yet. So that's kind of at a standstill until we can figure out how we want to lay out these transport belts. So at the very least, we know we're going to need input and input. Oop, how did that get turned around? Input and input, and then just like on these, man, where's the other output going? Oh, here they are. Oh, okay, yeah, so just like on these, I guess we don't have to go out the front. I think we went out on the front on this one because the this machine requires 3 inputs, so there was no more room in the back. So we're going to take everything's to be done from the back. Input, input, output. And then we're going to have to feed this down and then bring this over here. And then we'll worry about what's going on in the back. For right now, let's get our inputs connected. So we're going to let these, our containers build up stock, and then we're going to take the output of these containers and bring them back around into our inputs here. So we'll probably have to go back underneath our main bus. Okay, let's take another look. So we can take these 3 out. Build some more slopes. So we're going to be feeding these in and in. And they're going to have to go down one more time. Like so. Nope, I think I dug down one level too far. Bring these under our bus. And then we have to figure out how we want to get these. I guess we'll just we'll do loaders out the back and then wrap them around and bring them down. This one we can take straight out. This one we have to go out 1. And then come around and forward. And let's say once we get to here, now we're ready to ramp up. We'll go, oop, I built them backwards. We're going down. Here we go. Connect these up. Cover our holes. Here we go. And then, just for looks, I want to at least put one more row here. There we go. Okay, so these are going to be set to outputs. So now these are going to feed our assembler for red science, and then any excess will build up inside of these storage units so that I can just swing by here whenever I need some and scoop some up from the containers. We'll wait for our materials to pop out here. There's platforms, there's conveyors. All right, now we're producing red science. So now we need to do the opposite. We need to take the output, we need to go back down and then bring it around and to our science center. So let's get started on that next. Okay, here's our first red science arriving at our science area. So we'll just follow this back real quick. So this runs kind of underneath our launch pad here. I just have to dip under our transport belt for our, what were these? Drones or robots? Transport bots, there it is. So it dips underneath that and then runs back to our output here. So we're just going to quickly cover all this back up now. Like so, and then we need dirt for the rest. But I would eventually like to get this all modernized with foundation. I just don't want to do it in slapdash individual streaks like that. We'll do it in big, full platforms. Okay. So here's our red science. So now we're going to have to manage our distribution system back here because each one of these servers is going to need 2 loaders and then balancers so that each of the 2 loaders is receiving a balanced amount of science packs on each one. So it means we're going to have to push this all back and then bring probably blue science on the bottom and then red science will have to come over the top and then down and then into loaders. Because if we just do a straight through run with like first and second lane loaders, then the first server in the line is going to gobble up all the science. So something like this and this, and then we're going to deconstruct our existing blue science distribution. And I might actually need to pull this back a bit, but we'll see what this ends up looking like. So we're going to start close to the servers, and then we're going to have to bring the red science is going to have to go over the blue science. So let's do slope down like this and like this. And so our blue science is going to come in here, like so. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull this back. We'll leave it right there for now until we know what this is going to look like. And we will probably have to expand this platform a tad. Like so. Now let's grab our balancers. We're going to take 1 feed off for this server, and we're going to go forward 1, and we'll have 1 feed come off for this server. Like so. And then our main throughput, our main highway for blue science will be here. So that means this is going to have to come forward. Unfortunately, I don't know if that'll... Okay, it will. I was worried that it would grab it and start pulling it in this side, which I guess would still work. But just visually, I want this to enter on the side that it's going to be passing through on. So now we're load balancing blue to our 2 servers. Now we have to load balance red. So let's get over the top of these buses here, or these balancers here. And I guess we don't have to come back down again. We can just put the buses up in the air. I don't know why I keep calling them buses. They're balancers. And they are coming from this side, so we are going to want to... Here, we need to put 1 down, something down so we can build on top of it, like this. And then we grab a balancer, and then we can take an output here. And that'll go down into our first server, and this is going to come forward. 2? No, just like that, I think. And then this will go here. Yep. And we'll come off that side. And all we have to do is connect up this lane with that. So let's go and dig a bit. I'll be right back when it's all connected up. Okay, here comes our red science into our balancer and all the way back to our first server in the row. So now we are being fed with red and blue science. So now hopefully, yep, our research is continuing and I can dump in all of this extra science that we've picked up while repositioning the belts. I'll just dump these straight into one of our servers here. So that's going to now be working on its own, so we can focus our attention back on our task at hand, which is to sell 20 transport bots on the sales platform. Let's take a look. Sales platforms, we have 200 transport bots because we've been busy in the background. So let's go ahead and enable the sale of these. Average hourly demand is 1,600, amount to keep in storage. Let's read this. The sales platform allows us to sell products to casual customers passing by our station. Sales prices are expected to be 30% lower than average market prices, but it does not require extra management. Since other sales methods are always prioritized, the sales platform is also a convenient way of selling excess products in store. Okay, I'm not sure what this 14F denotes.
Ah, the smell of profit. We've set up the basics, but there is a lot to come. I know I've been bothering you a lot. I'll dial it back a bit from here and let you follow your own plans.
You too, Beep Pop.
Oh right, one final thing. I mentioned it before, the galactic currency is called thermalite. It's a precious metal that is both used as currency and as crafting material. You don't need that yet, but soon you will need to ship it to the planet from the station to make use of it.
Interesting. So it's a material that we can't mine and manufacture. We have to acquire it through trade and bring it down. That's kind of a neat. It gives us something, a reason to ramp up production in order to have access to more thermalite. Very interesting. So we've not sold anything yet. Oh, no, we did. We sold 30. So we have 195. Did another shipment arrive while we were waiting? Because I thought we had 200 and then we sold 30 and now we have 195. We can produce 360 per hour. That's fine. But I want to see, so we've sold some bots, which means that we should have some thermalite. Chunk scavenger. Oh, this is it. Thermalite on station. Okay, we've got 7.7 grand. This limit can be changed, but you will be charged for external storage. We can bank it too. Let's see, we can store up to 10K. So we either need to start shipping it down to the surface or expanding our storage. Construction material, thermalite, station upgrades, antenna. Oh, did we finish our antenna research? Or was that beep in the background? Yeah, no active research. Okay. So I assume that's going to be the next thing to do. Let's go station upgrades, antenna, repair antenna. That's going to consume another 10 megawatts, which is all we have left. So we're also going to have to expand our solar panels as well. 200 construction material. We still have some left. 8 minutes. Sure. All right, what do you got? Space station antenna. Yeah, no, we just did that.
Time to reach for the stars, you say? By expanding our communication capabilities, we can get in touch with other galactic entities. Let's upgrade the station to do so.
Okay. I was wondering why this server had a backup of science and this one had none. At any rate, let's go back a bit because we do have some lower tier things, and I wonder if we can just quickly research these. Like, we do want to grab building blocks to start basically encasing our manufacturing into buildings and make them look presentable. So let's grab some of these, and hopefully they research quickly. If not, we'll just do a time skip until we get some of these basic quality of life constructions done. So I'll see you back here in a bit. Okay, while we're waiting for some of these time-based things to count down, I did notice that we are now actually running at a deficit on our plate production. And so since that is one of our tasks that we have currently, I'm going to go ahead and expand our smelters for plates and for rods. Okay, so let's take a look. I did run out of space to expand along the line that we currently had going, because this this platform does come down, and not the platform, but the conveyor does come down and go underneath in order to join up with our bus here. So what I did is I just doubled it up on the back side, so we have the same output row that passes all the way through, but with the second lane loaders we can actually extend out and grab onto, or I guess in this case deposit onto, the same conveyor belts for the output. And we just had to create a load balancer and then feed the balanced belts into each of the input belts for the 2 rows of smelters. So that is a pretty cool design, I think. Very nicely intermeshed. But with that done, I think that's that should be our quest complete for fully saturating a bus, or a conveyor belt. Sand smelters. Oh, we need to build 16. Okay, we should do the same thing for rods, but that was the goal, was to use or to construct 8 smelters for each material type to fully saturate a single conveyor belt line.
Space station communication network restored. Galactic entities in proximity are now showing up on star map. The Galactic Market? A giant station that allows us to buy and sell various goods, including construction material? Let's take a look at the star map.
How do we do that? M for map? Nope. Is it done from the space station terminal? Galaxy map. Whoa, look at that. You zoom out. Holy crap. Look at them all. That's huge. I don't know what the purpose of each one of these planets is, but I'm assuming we can get a specific type of thing from each location. Heavy. Okay, this is what they want. I see. They want transport bots. They want heavy transport bots. You can look at their market share. Now, are these other players, or are these just procedurally generated? Jump distance and fuel cost. So do we actually go there? Population 1. Population 1. So all of these planets are just a single robot. Oh no, this has 380 million. Okay. A lush overgrown world where human settlers cultivate crops in small clearings. Neat. Too far away from any unlocked sector to view demand data. Okay, so we can't trade. Where are we? We're in. Here's our company's space station. But where's our planet? Galactic Market, giant space station acting as the main hub. Like, I would assume it would be underneath. We don't get a planet, I guess. Okay. Galactic Market. On the Galactic Market, you can buy or sell goods. You can either do one-time trades or set up recurring orders. Below, you can see ships currently executing trades. On the right side, you can manage your recurring orders. New trade, so we can buy construction material. Okay, so we can't construct it and send it up. We have to buy it from the Galactic Market. We can sell construction material. We have no cargo ships, so I assume we'll have to build those before we can do any kind of trade from, like, spaceships. But first we'll have to do some more upgrades, so we're going to have to add some solar panels to add 20 more megawatts. And we do have enough construction materials and enough thermalite. Get that running. And then we'll start some more research while we work on expanding our rods. Brazing. So in this case, we can actually just expand this linearly because we have tons of extra room here on the run going back to the assembly area. Okay, fill this in like so. And then we can just continue down the line here. So we're going to expand our input lines. We've got, what, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to need Let's just go all the way down. And we've got one left over, so it'll be 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll just continue this pattern here. So input, 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 and then second lane for output, 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 output. Switch these over. And that should be that. And where we're loading ore into all of these. I don't know if a single miner is going to be enough to stock all of them. I guess we'll have to check on our plates and see if maybe we need to put a second miner over here. Oh yeah. They are fully expended, so let's make a little more space here. They can mine from the side, so I don't have to worry too much about that. So we'll build another drone miner. And we're gonna have to top up our handheld resources for building by hand. Here we go. So, facing out. Same as the first. Now, here's going to be the interesting part. I guess we can just move this up 1. Place it like this. And then we can load onto that. There we go. And then we just have to reconnect our output lines here. Let's do that. So this will go directly to the right. This will go out 1 and then to the right. And there we go. That was pretty painless. So now these two should be hopefully able to provide enough for all of our smelters. And then we'll see how long it's going to take these guys to completely consume this deposit of xenoferrite before we have to go looking for a new source. But in the meantime, let's get some more research going. Our grid is strained. Take a look. Oh yeah. We're producing 1.8 of 2.2 now. We're running all these extra smelters and miners. So let's get back over here. So let's clear some space. There we go. And then continue this to here. And then one more loader to feed this into our second burner. And there we go. We've got plenty left over. And we've barely scratched the surface on our deposit. Our grid status is a little better. Not quite the same overhead we had previously, but we definitely have a bunch of extra at the moment. Alright, what do you want? Expand smelters is done.
You're right. This will provide a good supply of plates and rods. But given the task at hand, soon we might have to scale it up even further. For now, let's not get ahead of ourselves and just take a moment to celebrate this victory.
I just noticed we can pet BB. Would a robot appreciate pets? I guess it depends on how you program them. So now we're gonna need a drone bay, I guess.
Increasing complexity of construction work on the space station? You're right, those upgrades keep getting longer to complete. We need speed up station construction by repairing and expanding the construction drone bay.
No, I see even our 2 miners is not nearly enough to feed all these smelters. What is the range on these things? We build another drone miner. Drone range of 6. Okay, so if I place it... The problem with placing it here is that I need to get the output bus, or the output conveyor. I'm calling everything a bus. I'm playing too much Satisfactory. I need to get the output over to these lines here. So I could technically put this like... I have to go like dead nut center of this. Although even like here, even this has not got access to all of the xenoferrite deposit. So we just need to get it as close as possible. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then connect this to the rest of the foundation. Yep. Like that. And then we'll have to have another, let's see. How do we want to connect this up? Okay, and that can deposit building here. Output, okay, so now 1 lane of this balancer is feeding into this balancer along with the output of this miner. So technically this outer lane is going to be getting the lion's share of the materials, but if we switch our output priority to go to the right, now this line will be getting the priority output from these 2 miners, and then this entire miner is dedicated to this line only. So we should be getting enough for each with this configuration, I would think. We'll want to keep an eye on it. We might still be missing a bit from this side. Nah, it should be fine. Okay, we'll come back in a bit and see how things are looking. But it's not like we're even in the plates. Our plate consumption is not that high yet. In fact, I may even want to put a storage container here and have these plates go through that storage container before going out that way. That way we can have a place to grab some, since I am now completely dry on my personal supply here. So actually, let's do that before I run off again. Okay, there we go. So the output bus of our smelters is now feeding into the intake bus of a storage container, and then the output is going back to feed our assembly lines. So we'll cover this back up here too. And so basically once we hit capacity on our consumption in the assemblers, it will just back up into this storage machine like so, and now we are building up our excess here, so that when I need some, I can just come over here and grab it by hand. We'll have to do something similar for rods. It'd be more convenient if they were near each other, but I don't really think it'd be prudent to bring the rods all the way over here into storage and then all the way back again, but maybe we'll take a look at doing something like that. In the meantime, we have some research to catch up on. Let's take lights. You definitely need some lights to light up the base for nighttime. You can turn off the day-night cycle in the options, but I think it's a nice little visual addition. Okay, we'll let that run. Okay, so while we're waiting for research to be researched, let's go look at our spaceships again. So we are going to need a second cargo ship to go handle our intergalactic, or our galactic market transactions for us. So we can now, we bought a second cargo ship, so we can assign this to market trade. So now we should be able to buy construction materials to continue to repair our station. So we can buy construction materials. Cost 10F. Now, why is it in red? Does that mean it's a bad price or that we don't have 10 thermalites? I'm pretty sure we've got plenty of thermalite. In fact, we're almost at our cap for our current storage. So, assign task. Yeah, market trade. So we want to buy thermalite. Amount 400. That costs 1,000. Cap to 100 because of ship cargo. Okay, so we can only do 100 at a time with this particular ship. Company rank increase. We are now a small assembly. So we're going to buy 100 at a cost of 1,000 thermalite with this cargo ship. Selected. Selected. Okay, then we're going to confirm the trade. And then I assume our ship is going to go take care of that task. So if we look at the galaxy map, do we see it flying off? Do we get a time until completion? There we go. Okay, so 10 minutes to complete that trade. So we'll come check on this once we get the pop-up notification that that trade has been complete, because we are going to need some more materials to do our next space station upgrade. We'll get more research going. Let's get stairs and railings, basic steel making, signs. Signs might be useful. Let's do signs. And in the meantime, we now have access to... Can we load our science in here? Yeah. Take it all. We now have access to walls and doors. Science, robots, metallurgy. We can build a paint roller. Here we go, decor. So if we build... Let's build a door, and each one of these makes 4 decor blocks. Let's build 10 of those. And let's see what these actually look like. I guess let's build this lined up with this. So, okay, so it has a handle or an auto open. So we can come in and then we'll be able to see our research here. And now we'll need to build walls. Like so. Okay, there we go. It's a bit basic at the moment, but I'm still waiting on researching some more decor components. So I don't know if they have the loading ports that you can put into walls like they have in Factorio to pass conveyor belts through. So right now I just have a basic Minecraft style opening, but we do have a door that leads inside. And I'm holding off on the roof. I can stick a flat roof on. I don't know if we'll eventually get actual roofing, but for right now we'll just leave it open and we'll see what comes down the line with some more research. Decor 2. Oh. Apparently I did not build walls, I built blocks. Well, let's go ahead and start research, and then I'll rebuild it with walls. Ooh, and double wide doors, and explosives. And some more lights. Oh yeah, we're going crazy with decor. Okay, while we're waiting for more research to get done, I'm going to go ahead and slap a logistics container on the output of our rod smelting, just so we can have the same grab and go setup that we have with our plates. So we'll do 1, 2, an intake and an output. And so now any excess, rather than just building up inside the smelters, will get put in here so I can come over whenever necessary, open the container, and grab a handful of them. Easy. Okay, a bit awkward with the sizing of the building. I may have to expand the walls a bit, but the walls do look a bit more visually interesting than just having it being made of a recurring pattern of blocks. So we'll finagle this a bit as we go on, because we'll probably have to wind up putting more servers in here anyway. So the next time we expand this, we'll make it so that we can fit a symmetrical number of panels on each side of this. But it's a good start. So we also slapped down some lights. So I'm going to dot those around the facility here, so I don't have to keep running around and pulling my flashlight out every 12 hours in game time. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll continue. Okay, things are looking a bit lighter around here. It's a good start. Can you get out of there? I swear I'm going to build a pen for you next, though. I think you're going to be able to just blip outside of it, so we'll just keep calling you back. Alright, let's get some more research started. What's next? We have ladders, railings, and stairs. Interior lights, double wide doors, explosives, bigger containers, office furniture. Let's actually make some progress in the tech tree this episode. So let's get started on basic steel making. Because we're also going to need that for the struts decor, which would make a cool addition to spice the look up of the base a bit. So while that's researching, let's go check on our space station. I did send a second order for more construction materials, but I think we can actually use some for right now since our next hull upgrade only requires 400. So we'll start that. So that is now upgrading. And then I'm not sure what that'll do for us. Maybe give us some expanded base for spaceships or storage for objects. I'm not sure just yet. And then we can also look at what BB has for us. Lights. We just built some. You're always one step behind us.
Are you feeling a little spooked when it's dark? No worries, BB. We can create some light poles to brighten up our nights.
We can immediately turn that one in.
Oh yes, you've illuminated my perspective. Things are looking exceptionally bright around here.
Galactic market.
Buying construction material from the galactic market, that's a solid plan. We need it to further improve the station, and there's no way to make it on our own yet. I've prepared a page in your information database. You should take a look.
Way ahead of you. View info database page, galactic market. Is that here? Galactic market. Yep, one-time trade routes we've already sent. Recurring trade routes we don't need just yet. Cargo spaceships, yep, we did that. And we can turn this in.
Our cargo ship with bought construction material has just arrived at the station. Keep buying more if needed.
What's next? Planetary sales.
Selling our products to other planets instead of depending on casual customers visiting our space station? That sounds interesting. We can charge higher prices too. Okay, let's get to work. We need to establish contact with a galactic sector and acquire a trade license on a planet before we can establish a supply route. If you need additional help, check the info database page about galactic sales.
Okay, and then what is this? Complete station upgrade, repair, construction drone bay. So that'll be next after we get the hull completed. We're back on standby while our progress bars progress. Okay, there we go. Steel beams. What do we need to make steel beams? Xenoferrite ignium ore blend. Made in the advanced smelter. Then a new structure. Smelter crusher. Okay, well, let's build one and see what it does. Crusher 1. Just gonna plop it down here. Production status. Okay, so you produce the xenoferrite ignium ore blend, and you need xenoferrite and ignium ore. Oof. So that means we're gonna have to pipe it in from way over there. All right, let's break this back down. And I guess we can stick another drone miner here. There we go. So we're going to do a separate, we're going to leave all the existing iron production here feeding our smelters for the assemblers, and then we'll build a separate feed over here to crush into steel, basically. So we'll make a new drone miner, and we'll need a few smelters. Start down here. Now, which way do we want to feed it? Well, I guess we'll have to go from here. And then I suppose we'll eventually want to get this into our bus here. So maybe we go from here back, or from here to the right, and then we can just circle the output around. Not sure how we want to do that just yet. Okay, so our drone miner is now outputting a belt of xenoferrite down below this platform, wrapping around and coming back up on this side. So here are our loaders on the back here. So we're going to drop a, not a smelter, but a crusher down here. We're going to configure the crusher for xenoferrite ignium ore blend. So this should start getting loaded up with the iron, but now we need to bring a belt of ignium over here as well. And I guess we can go ahead and... It's unfortunate these are too wide, because now we're going to have to do intake from the back and then output from the front. So I may actually move this back. Yeah, let me swap these around. So we'll put the crusher where these guys are, and then we can do our inputs on this side, our outputs on the back, and then our outputs will just feed right back here to our belt, where I'm sure we'll be combining the steel with some other components. So let me do that real quick, and we'll be right back. Okay, for the ignium ore, we're just going to grab our existing line that's powering the burners, and then anything that's not being fed into the burners is just going to follow the foundation line that's carrying the low voltage all the way back to our smelting area. And so I'm just going to grab this here, and then we'll feed this into a reverse belt going in the opposite direction of the xenoferrite. Like this. And then we'll have the first lane loader pulling in the ignium ore, and then the second lane loader pulling in the xenoferrite ore, and that should give us an output of xenoferrite ignium ore. There we go, one more noisy machine. And so I assume we're going to have to then feed this into another row of smelters. So let's actually make multiple of these. So we'll build another crusher. Crusher, face the panel out. And repeat our loader order in the back here. So second lane loader, then first lane loader. Now we have to select what we want to make. Make sure, oh yeah, we have plenty of power. Okay, so now we have two crushers running, so now we're going to have to output in the front because these are only too wide. We have no more output capacity in the back. So we'll just do a regular one-lane loader in the front. And run our belts back this way, I suppose. Oh, we are going to have to continue our foundations. Let's cancel that. We're going to have to power smelters now. Yeah. Unless we do something like... Let me test a layout here. I'm going to dig out some platform. Okay, fill it in. Now, since both the crushers and the smelters are too wide, we could potentially... This is going to be output. while I'm looking at it before I forget. We could put a smelter here, maybe? If we end up doing this, we may want to flip this around just so we can see the screens from this side. But my idea is if we take this lane this way, and then we put a second lane loader. No, it wouldn't have to be a second lane, it would just be a first lane. Just a regular loader like this. In fact, we could push this forward. Yeah, if we push this forward one, then we can pull from this belt, smelt, and then output into a belt that's leading back this way. That way we can feed it onto our main bus. So let's do that. So we'll push this back one, which means we're going to need another row of foundation. Let's set this up beforehand. So we're going to run our output belt this way. Right, and then we're gonna need a second lane loader to grab our input from the output of the crushers, like so. And then we're gonna need a single lane loader to be our output from the smelters headed back this way. So we'll set these short guys to outputs. And then if we dump our smelter here, panel facing out towards us. There we go. So it's producing steel, and it should spit it onto this lane. Yes. Perfect. And then we'll do one more. Oops. We're doing it. We're producing steel. So now we need a collector, like similar to what we did for plates and rods, just so we have some capacity to hand pick some materials for handcrafting. So let's we've got a ton of room just to play with here. I just don't want to, if we get too close to the landing pod, we're not going to be able to build. So if we try to build a logistic container, here, oh, it's just enough. So then we'll need a input and output belt, and we'll just pass this straight through output, like so, off into, well, the close distance. So as soon as this starts backing up, now these will start collecting in here, so we have a place to come grab some steel if we need it for handcrafting. And then we'll have to work out a new lane up on top of this, so all the way up here, running this way. Those elevators can't come fast enough. So that's going to be for steel, and well, not unfortunately, we'll just have to build further forward, because in order to ramp stuff down from this layer, we're going to have to push these assemblers forward another 2 blocks. So until we unlock freight elevators, the higher our main bus goes, the further back our assemblers are going to have to be pushed in order to ramp stuff down from the top. Also, I just noticed our space station is looking a little bit healthier and more intact. Very cool. It'd be nice if I had like a binoculars or something, I could get a closer look at that, but set in the night sky like that. I'm not sure how it's in like geostationary orbit, but we're not going to think too hard about that. It's a very cool set piece up in the sky. Right, so conveyor belts, so we're going to have to bring this back. Until we get enough clearance to start putting a ramp upwards. Well, I guess we could start the ramp like here. Oh, we have to build some ramps first. We could start the ramp here. Which room do we have to work with here? None. This is going to have to go straight here, then turn. And then the rest of this is going to have to be done here, I guess, until we get elevators. Like so. And then we just go forward 1, turn, forward 1. There we go. Now we've added steel onto our main belt, our main bus. We'll have to see what our production is like. It looks like we have just enough for each, so it's like 1 crusher to 1 smelter. Now we don't have enough to saturate. I guess it'll be the same calculation as the plates and the rods. Are going to need 8 of these running to fully saturate a conveyor belt. But we don't have anything yet that's consuming these, so we have some time to build up a little extra once this belt actually backs up, and then we start, collecting them inside here again. And then we'll see what we're going to need these steel beams for. So let's go do our upkeep. So we're going to check our research projects. We have piping is almost done. I think piping is going to start consuming our steel. Here we go. But piping does get us access to... Where's my tech tree here? So if we go down the piping tree, we can start making construction material on our own and not have to get it from the galactic market. More decor, more lights, escalators for moving ourselves around. Here it is, elevator. So elevator requires basic thermalite smelting. And basic thermalite smelting requires high voltage energy grid. Ooh. Which is where? High voltage energy grid. Okay. So we're still on red and blue science. Power lines, power poles. Okay, so now we're going back to satisfactory style power distribution for high voltage equipment. Boilers, steam turbines. Neat. So we'll get that researching. And let's take a look at piping. So we did just unlock piping. So let's see what that is for and what is required to do it. So we can build pipes and pipe intake. So this is going to be siphoning up liquid. So we're going to be pulling water, I assume, and then pumping it. Very similar to Satisfactory. So first we're going to have to find some water. So here's us. I assume these mountains... sorry, I'm yawning. I assume the gray here are the mountains. So our closest source of water is actually to go through the mountains, which is great because I've been looking for an excuse to start digging into that mountain. Otherwise, we have to pipe it in all the way from the river out here to the east. But it will be a cool engineering project if we go through the mountains here into this lake. So let's actually go put eyes on it. Does it show us our heading? Yes. So if we just walk straight up to the top of that ridge there, we should be able to look down and see that water. I should dig up some of these dirt blocks, some of the grass here to use for decorating around the base. It's a bit more pleasing to look at than the cracked, dry desert dirt. Ugh, just gotta jump our way up this. It'll auto-climb gaps of 1 block, but not 2. So we have to just not Minecraft, we have to Skyrim horse, Oblivion horse our way up here. Almost there. Might as well climb to the peak. There, we've done it. Oh, that's a tree. I thought that was like a radio tower over there. We've done it. We've climbed. Oh, there's a slightly higher peak right over there, but we're not going to worry about that. We'll knock it down. We'll drill it out, and then this will be the highest peak. So, okay, so this will be our draw location for our piping. So what we're going to have to do is dig a tunnel through the mountain to this side. So we'll go straight this way. So as long as we hit water more or less straight. Oop, is there fall damage? Hopefully not. So let's back up until we hit ground level. Right about here. And then we'll just start digging forward. There we are. Straight through the mountain. Look at that. So now I wonder, since this is Minecraft-like, does this have fluid physics? Like if I drill these out... Okay, it does get filled up. So further to that, I wonder if there is a limited amount of water in here. Like once we start siphoning, is it actually going to start removing blocks of water like how lava gets used up in Minecraft? And further to that, if not, if it's Minecraft water physics where the water will just continue to expand into, you know, infinitely into adjacent tiles as long as there's an adjacent tile to expand into, can I then just basically irrigate this lake? So if I dig down, you know, 2 more tiles and then bring the water all the way back to our base, can I then just put up our extractors in that source of water instead of having to run pipes? I mean, it would be a neat engineering project to run pipes to the mountain anyway, but I'm just wondering what the limits of the mechanics of the engine are. I've also lost where the mouth of our tunnel is. Oh my god, that is so loud. Why we're a robot? Why are we like making this much gasping, splashing noise? Where did we come from? Oh, I see it. I see it. It's actually a bit further up, so we're actually a little bit above sea level at the base. Because here is our tunnel here. I'm actually gonna expand the tunnel a bit, one, so that I can actually see it when I'm over on this side and not get lost again. But B, I'm sure the pipe is going to require a considerable amount of space to run through the mountain here, so we're going to need some space on the side to run that through, so we'll do that as well. So I'm going to widen this on my way back, and I'll see you on the other side. I'm free! After 10,000 years! It's a little asymmetric, but I guess we could do like pipe along the short side, and then we have a space to walk through here. We can always expand it later, especially I saw explosives was on our research list, so maybe we can blast a larger hole through here. But in the meantime, let's go take a look at our research. We did finish high voltage in the meantime, so we'll have to take a look at that as well. But let's get a new research project going. So now that we're through high voltage energy grid, we should have access to thermalite smelting. So we're still on blue and red. A lava smelter. Ooh, we're gonna dig down and find lava underground. Cool. Let's get that going, and then we'll have some extra research to clean up here. In the meantime, let's take a look at high voltage energy. In Foundry, there are 2 different types of power. Actually, you know what? Before I start reading this, let me get away from the very loud assemblers. Here we go. High voltage power. In Foundry, there are 2 different types of power, low and high voltage. This page is about high voltage power. Advanced energy generation machinery generates high voltage power, HVP, which is transported by power poles and power lines. To convert HVP to low voltage power, LVP, which is distributed through building blocks, a transformer needs to be placed on the according building block foundation and connected to the HVP via a power line. Important. Even if high voltage power generating machines require a foundation, they only output their generated power to a connected HVP grid. Transformers have a maximum transmission rate. Sometimes multiple transformers might be necessary, depending on the amount of power consuming machinery on the low voltage grid. Power lines can be crafted. After you equip them, you can click on a connectable object to start a power line, and click again on the desired endpoint, for example, solar panel to power pole, or pole to pole. Okay, high voltage power source, so solar panels, up, power poles, carry high voltage power, go into a transformer, and then become low voltage power. Got it. Okay, so our pipes, we take steel beams and then we have a pipe intake. So what are we actually doing with this water? We need some type of generator. Is that what the lava power is going to be for? We're going to need to bring lava and water into a single unit and then use like the thermal difference to generate power. One way to find out. Take a look at the research grid. So we got high voltage energy grid, and that unlocked green science, thermalite smelting, and wall-mounted power poles. So we currently have access to more faster assemblers, faster conveyor belts, larger logistics containers. Mining drill speed probably would have been useful before I drilled a path to the mountain. Office furniture or refinement. Interesting. And then vacuum bot assembly. I don't see any kind of new power production. Oh, here we go. High voltage energy grid. That gives us a boiler. Okay, so I missed something. Get away from the noisy assemblers. So in here somewhere, science, metallurgy, transformer, power pole, steam turbine, and boiler. Okay, so we need pipes, we need steam turbines. No, let's do it. Let's grab some steel. Let's handcraft some stuff here. We have a full stack of steel. Let's ditch this extra dirt. We have so much dirt. It's like we dug a tunnel through a mountain or something. We have a whole bunch of ore rubble. Here, you take this. More dirt, more dirt. Blocks, okay. Clean things up a little bit. So in our crafting menu, we're gonna need a whole bunch of pipes. So let's just start making pipes. And then we're gonna need, I assume, a pump and an intake, and then we're probably going to have to provide power to this. Yeah, so we're gonna have to get power through the mountain. So do we just build a long... Oop, lava caves. Learn more about lava caves. That seems more interesting than figuring out pipes. Lava caves. Deep down in the depths. Deep down in the depths caves. Oh, deep down in the depths, comma. It doesn't exist. Caves filled with lava are to be found. The enormous heat can be utilized for certain tasks, like smelting thermalite in a lava smelter. Ooh, how to get there. Most of the rock layers above the lava caves are too hard to dig or blast, so you advance your mining hardness research. But there are ways around this problem. Throughout the world, shafts of porous rock can be found. Your scanner and map will be able to track them as soon as you research the elevator. These porous rock shafts can be mined right away without the need for advancing your mining hardness research. Together with the elevator, which is able to dig on its own. The elevator, which is able to dig on its own? Huh. You can use those shafts to get access to the lava caves. The caves are found near the very bottom, so you want to configure the bottom elevator station roughly at a height between 2 and 15. Once you arrive down there, you will need to dig a couple blocks in any direction to reach the lava caves. So so does the elevator, like you place it up on the surface and it just automatically creates a tunnel of the dimensions, or the footprint of the elevator straight down? So porous rock, is that... Come with me a moment. While I was digging our tunnel, which I'm now going to have to relocate again. Here. So if we pay attention to the texture on the floor, when I got to about here, we did get this weird, different looking texture. I don't know if this is just like dirt and this is sand, but everything I dug out from this whole path all counted as dirt. I didn't have any other type of material in here other than our existing rocky desert and the dirt. I wonder if this is considered porous material, maybe? The problem is well, I guess we could always just Minecraft jump our way back out, but, you know, like, once we start digging down, now we're stuck. Also, I don't want to dig straight down into the lava. So, let's go ahead and quickly make a manual save. And let's dig down. Oh, stone. For a second I thought it was like a Fermalite vein, but then I remembered that we can't get Fermalite on the surface. It has to be traded for. I guess we'll know if it's the right type of material if we dig through the ceiling of a lava cave and fall straight into the lava. Nope. Okay, so this is the limit of our ability to dig down. So this is not porous material. I guess it's just a different texture of dirt, maybe. All right, so let me get me back out of here. Oops. I'm too far. Oh god. All right, we're back on the surface. First, we're just gonna have to research either the scanner for porous materials, porous rock, or just get straight to the mining hardness upgrade. But for now... Oh, right, we were working on hydropower, right? Or I guess this would be steam power. So we have enough pipes to build a boiler and a steam turbine. And this will give us access to a high voltage grid. Let me grab some more. How are we looking on plates and such? Because I don't want to have to run all the way back here once we're over on the other side of the mountain. Let's top up on plates. We have 196 rods, so that's fine. We're probably going to need some more steel, though. At some point, we're going to have to look into increasing our steel production, but for right now, I guess we can start... Does any of this actually use low voltage? It's like I see a small... No, smelter is not what we're looking for. We want a boiler outputs. Steam. Input 20 water per second, output steam per second, right? And then that's going to go into a steam turbine. So that's all going to be high voltage production, but what we need on the other side of the mountain is actually the pump. We need to run pipes through the mountain. We need an intake, I guess, in the water, and then a pump on top of the intake to actually pump the water into the pipes. And that takes 200 kilowatts of low voltage. So we do need to get low voltage through the mountain, and we can do that by either running power poles. We have access to transformers yet? Crusher, smelter, assembler, generator, transformers. We can build a transformer to turn the low voltage grid into high voltage and then run that through wires so we don't have to build quite so many blocks to go through the mountain, or we can just build a long stretch of low voltage through the mountain. So we have two options. I guess let's see what the transformers look like and operate like first before we make our final decision. So let's take a small transformer, a power pole, and then I guess since we're going through a tunnel, we might want to look into quickly researching the wall connected power poles. Okay, so here's our transformer. So it's a 2x2. No grid connection. I assume by that they mean... Did I make a power pole? Didn't see a power pole. Make me a power pole. So I assume by that they mean this. So is there like a wire tool to connect these, or do we just interact with them somehow? I assume we're gonna need some kind of tool to connect this to this. What's the tool? Handhelds? A plumber tool? Or scanner power line? Oh, it's like it's a consumable. Interesting. So we're gonna have to add storage capacity on our copper wire? I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but okay, so if we take origin and destination cannot be the same. Oh, like that. Okay. Transformer status. Max transmission rate 5 megawatts. Grid status offline. No batteries connected. No high voltage grid. Okay, so yeah, we need to... What are we consuming? Oh, that's our available 2 megawatts. Maybe? So we'll have to, once the wall-mounted power poles are connected, so we can take this. I wonder what the maximum length of this is. So let's break this down, and then give me the power line, or not that. Oh, yeah, it'll actually let us place it. Target an object that supports high voltage cable connection. We'll turn green when looking at it, or target a block to build power pole small. So I guess as long as we have a power pole in our inventory, it will let us build it. So let's see how far away we can get. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go 9 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay, so let's build some more power poles and some more power lines. This is probably more obnoxious than just building a long row of foundation blocks, but it is what it is. We're unlocking this stuff. We might as well be using it. And that gives us some time for our power pole, our wall-mounted power pole research to be complete. And this is probably not the final destination that I want these things to be in, because this is going to be directly in the way of our assembly, but we can relocate it later. Okay, so let's grab our power line. Keep going. Let's just go straight back as far as we can. We're gonna have to cut down this tree. To here, and then I guess we can start going this way, because our... yeah. Our tunnel is back this direction. We got lucky tree. Okay, and then from here we'll reach the side of this. So since we're still waiting for that to finish researching, we'll go ahead and expand our tunnel. There we go. 2x2 tunnel all the way through. Oh, I also want to look at real quick. I'm trying to place this. Okay, so it's just a single space. So we'll have like power pole on top and then pipe along the bottom. Rotate on not that axis, that axis. I guess on our way back, we have to start placing this because we're going to be siphoning up water from here, slurping it up, sending it back. Let's see how far we can extend this. And we still have 15 left, so we're going to have to keep producing it as we go. Okay, so there's our run of pipe. Now we're also going to need to produce, how's our steel looking? Look at 126. So give me some wall-mounted power poles. I don't know exactly how many we'll need. Let's make this a bit more visible. Okay, so it's attached to the ceiling, which I suppose is fine. We can also attach it to the wall. So it's R, T, and H. R, T, and H. Interesting. Just make sure that actually connects from here to here. Path is blocked. Okay, so we're gonna have to make a separate pole, just like right here, maybe. Oh, also we missed somehow that spot. So now we go from here to here. Perfect. Okay, so let's see how far we can put this. It really wants to run along the ceiling. I wonder if I should just do ceiling, and we don't have to keep rotating these. Unless it's simple. So T, T, T. So T, T, T. T, T, T. Oh, it'll stay the same. Okay. Once you rotate it once, it'll stay that way. And then let's make this more official looking. There. That should stand out a bit more. So we'll grab this. Go to here, I guess. And then we'll do a power pole. If even necessary. So let's see. So let's build a platform. And then we're going to need space for a transformer. This would be a good use for stairs, but I don't have the stairs researched yet. So we'll just create some natural stairs. So a transformer is 2 by 2. It's going to go here. Like so. And we'll build another transformer. Oh, we're out of rods. It'll be a long run back. Alright. Let's face this towards us. And then can we connect this directly? Yep. Perfect. So grid status is interestingly still offline. So I guess at some point we have to have a high voltage grid involved. Interesting. So we may need to temporarily build a burner over here, or grab one of the ones that we're not using. But for right now, we're gonna take. Do we build a pipe intake yet? I don't see one in my inventory, so we're gonna need some more pipe. I'm gonna need a pipe intake and a pipe pump. Let's go ahead and read the help. Liquid intake. Use a liquid intake to draw in water and output it into a connected pipe. The pipe intake needs to be fully submerged. Does not need power. Okay, so maybe we didn't need power over here, although the pump probably does need power. Cannot be used to draw in air. Build the air intake modular building instead. Luckily, we don't need to breathe. So let's build this. This should count as fully submerged, right? And then we'll take our pipe, which we're probably going to need more of. I guess, yeah, let's go ahead and move it over one. How do you change the direction of a pipe? Oops. Not like that. Okay. Now let's place intake back. And then pipes going up. Somehow. Some rotation, combination of rotations. And then we somehow need to... Let's extend this one so I can actually see. There's no, like, corner pipe, although we do need a pump. I forgot about the pump. Mode straight. Ah. I see. Okay, so let's look at the pump now. So this needs to be in line, which makes sense. Can we rotate this? Does it have a control? It does have a button that needs to be pressed. So maybe we put this like here. But it needs power, so it needs to be on the power grid, so maybe not. So let's select this again. Oop. Duplicate. Forward. So how do we want to take this? Maybe we continue out like a dock. Yeah, and then we can, instead of doing it here, we can put a liquid intake T, okay, that, and then go up. Pipe. Corner mode, go directly this way. Into our pump. So that's the input. There's our button. We'll get rid of this. And this can go up. This can go down. Like so. And then we can see the water from the top. So I almost wonder if we should do it from the side, but it's equally visible, I think. So we have no power here yet, so if we hit this, nothing's going to happen. But if we're going to go grab one of our unused biomass burners just to get this process started. And then once we actually get the water pumping through this, although it looks like there's already water in it. Left mouse button, open pipe network info. Yeah, there's already water in this pipe, even without the pump operating. Huh. Now let's see what happens. Let's go put a boiler on the other side and a steam turbine. And that'll produce high voltage power, and then we already have the power distribution set up to pipe that high voltage power back. So we put it... Let's just stick it here, and then once we know how it works, then we'll know how much space we need to produce a power plant, essentially. Okay, so here's our pipes. Let's bring it out. Like so, and then we're gonna need some foundations, so we'll just plop some down here real quick. I don't know how big these buildings are gonna be. And then so our steam turbine is here. Oh my god, it's huge. Which side is the in and which side is the out? In this side. And it all needs to be, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A 5 by 12. Okay. There we go. 5 by 12. Take our... No, actually, we need a boiler first, don't we? So, kind of... No, I wouldn't waste it, but... I see output. Oh, that's input on the side. Oh, so it has an optional number of inputs, but only one output. Understood. Okay, so let's line up our input with that. And then we can copy this and rotate it into place. Input output, any, requires water to operate. And then we have an output of steam. So that is going to take more pipe. And that's going to go into a steam turbine. So we're actually going to need to build some more foundation here. So let me do that. Okay. There's a little bit more room. So let's drop a... Where'd it go? Steam turbine. And it says it consumes... up to 360 liters per second of steam, and our boiler, which is where boiler is producing 360. So it's 1-to-1. It's one boiler to one steam turbine, and the input is on that side. So ideally, I guess you'd put this, like, you'd tee it off like this. And then you don't even have to have, like, a pipe, I guess. But since I built it long ways, we'll have to manually connect it, which is fine, because this is just a test run. We want to see what this looks like, what the footprint looks like, and then we'll build a proper power plant for it afterwards. But you know what? There, that wasn't too painful. So let's drop our steam turbine in, and let's see if we can just go directly output port to input port without needing a pipe. Like that. And then that way, since our water's coming in here, we can go input, and then we can do an output here and do another one and just do them all lengthwise coming down this way. No grid connection. Power pole is too far away. Okay, so we need to build a power pole. Let's see, can we go straight down and then over? Okay. We're getting there. We're figuring it out. So we're missing fuel still. So our fuel for this machine is steam, which we need to be producing here, but this machine says it's missing fuel. So what type of fuel? We're back to biomass, huh? And it's very hungry for biomass as well. I wonder if there's a more efficient fuel you can put in here, like coal or something. But we're producing 360 liters of steam per second. We're consuming 360 liters of fuel per second here. Our grid status is online, so now we have a high voltage grid producing 1.0 megawatts. No batteries. That's connected to now 2 low voltage grids, one for our main assembly base and one for our pump down this way. So the pump should be active now. So let's just go check on that real quick, make sure we get a green light on that. I'm sure it's there, but I want to visibly see it. Yep, green light. Grid status. Good. All right, I think we got this figured out. Unfortunately, this does require us to keep topping up biomass. I wonder if we could put the ignium ore in there. Is there a, let me look at the help documents and see if there's one specifically for like hydropower or steam power. High voltage energy, pipes and liquids, fuel items. Aha! Use fuel as a power source. So we can use ignium ore as a power source. So let's get that biomass out of there or let it burn itself out since it's being sucked down really quick. And then we're going to scoop up a bunch of ignium, or drill up ourselves a bunch of ignium. Here. $58. We're gonna kneecap our steel production for a bit. Unless we just manually dig some up. How much does this give us? 2 each. That's gonna take too long. We'll let the drones keep doing the hard stuff for us. See, it's not even being used anyway. 151, 67, 183, 196, close enough. It's like 1 stack of ignium ore. Ooh, it looks cool. Everything is so loud, though. So let's manage inventory. Let's get rid of this biomass here. We've almost completely gone through a stack in like a minute and a half. Let's stick our ignium ore in there. That seems like it's going to last a bit longer. At the very least, it's easier to get a hold of. And the only thing... Oh, this does! Okay, it does have a loader. I was going to say, the only thing that would make this perfect is if we could load the ignium ore into it automatically. But we can... So we're just going to have to extend our ignium line. We're going to have to increase our ignium production as well. But we'll extend our ignium line from here. Maybe put it through a load balancer. We're gonna have to run probably deep underground just so that we can get well underneath all of our assembly stuff and then pop it back out here for our power plant. We can automatically load it into the boilers, and now that we have water coming in here, I don't know what the maximum capacity of water traveling through a pipe is in this. Let's see. Capacity is 7.8k liters. And the boiler will consume 1,000 liters. So we may need more. No, input is 20 liters per second. So that's just how much is in it. So yeah, we've got a ton of capacity for water in this pipe. So we can just extend out here. We'll do like 1 or 2 pipes here, just to give us enough of a walkway here so we can get to, you know, the management panel on each of these turbines. And then we'll put another boiler here, and another turbine, and another boiler here, and another turbine, just like we do in Factorio. So that's awesome. That being said, we are at about the 3.5 hour mark, so this is going to be edited down into somewhere around 2, I hope. I think that is a nice, neat milestone for us to end on for this episode. So if you've been enjoying this playthrough of Foundry, hit like and subscribe. If you want to check out Foundry for yourself, head on over to Steam and pick it up. And if you want to let me know what you're thinking of the game so far, then hit the comments down below. But whatever you do, I'll see you right here again in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.